I actually did grow up in Northern Virginia. I went to school. I remember when I was a kid, I got in a fight at school, and it wasn't the first time, so I got sent home. And my mom was super pissed. She was so mad, she didn't even yell at me. She said, "You know what? I'm not even going to deal with you right now. Just wait till your father gets home." Let me tell you guys something. Waiting for my dad to come home, longest 20 years of my life. That was one of the first jokes I ever wrote, by the way. When I started doing stand-up comedy, I had a much darker sense of humor, a lot edgier comedy. And for reference, I'm going to tell you another one of the first jokes I ever wrote. You guys ready? So I have this friend who has cancer, right? And, sorry, I screwed it up. Let me restart, sorry. Like I said, it's one of the first jokes I ever told. It's been a while. I had a friend who had cancer, right? No. He's not dead or anything. He's just a dick. We don't talk anymore. I've had a lot of terrible friends. I got this one friend who's like really pretentious and feels the need to show off how cultured and sophisticated he is compared to the rest of us cavemen. And he feels the need to critique everything. Like one time, we were drinking wine, and he very loudly and obnoxiously said, "This Merlot is disgusting. It's bitter, flat, and unfit for human consumption." I said, "Bro, we are in the middle of communion service right now. Can you not?" I love doing comedy, but comedy's hard because just because you're funny out in the real world doesn't mean you're going to be funny on stage. Well, I'll give you an example. Just by a quick show of hands, I'm not going to pick on you, but just by a quick show of hands, anyone here consider themselves like the class clown or the funny one in their friend group or anything like that?
Aaron's funny boy.
Okay. All right. Now think about this. When people describe you, would they say, "That's the funny guy from work," or would they say, "That's the guy who makes a lot of jokes at work"? You hear the difference? Hold on. Ladies, think about it this way. Would you rather be known as that pretty girl from work or that girl who wears a lot of makeup at work? I'm just saying, I would have a very different reaction if I got off stage tonight and someone said, "You are so talented," versus saying, "You are so brave." Those are not the same thing. As a stand-up comedian, one thing I've never really been comfortable with is crowd work. You know, where you pick someone out and you ask them questions like, "What do you do for a living? Are you married?" Things like that. Because one time I was at a comedy show and the host picked this guy out of the crowd, started questioning him. Comes to find out, this dude found out his wife was cheating on him, was going through a bitter divorce, and was living in a hotel room. So the comedian, upon hearing this, decided, that's comedy gold. He proceeds to make fun of this guy for like the next 10 minutes, and the whole audience is just laughing at him. Can you imagine? Imagine you're this guy. Like, you go out, you're trying to get a drink, trying to have a good time, forget about your problems. All of a sudden, some guy on stage decides to humiliate you in front of the entire room. Can you imagine how traumatizing that must be?
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you do for a living? I'm not going to. Like Vinny said, I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I served in the Marine Corps for 5 years. When I first enlisted in the Marine Corps, I tried to mentally prepare myself for any possible trauma I might face, things like anxiety, injury, death. But the one thing I could not prepare myself for was the unbelievable number of penises I would see in 5 years. Like, setting aside the showers in boot camp, my job was a prison guard. So, as a prison guard, we had to watch the prisoners 24/7. Not only that, anytime they left the facility for a work detail or a court hearing or whatever, when they came back, we had to conduct a strip search. It's during one of these strip searches that I saw the smallest penis I had ever seen. I consider myself a professional, but I'm not gonna lie, when that prisoner dropped his pants, it took every fiber of my being not to burst out laughing. Ironic thing too is, crime the dude was in for, indecent exposure. I don't know how he got convicted. I knew he was naked and I couldn't see a damn thing. It just looked like he had a second outie belly button. After the Marine Corps, I used the GI Bill, I went to school, became campus security, eventually got promoted to supervisor. When I worked as a supervisor, one of my employees under me came out as trans. Born biological male, transitioning to a woman. And so we had to go to my office, we had a long conversation about what that would mean in the workplace. And I was very supportive, and I made a promise that she would be treated like the real woman that she is. So I lowered her pay by 20%. I usually try not to get too political with my jokes, but I will say I did grow up in a very Republican household. Everybody in my family is a Republican, which is why we were so shocked when we found out that my grandma voted for Joe Biden in the 2020 election. Weirdest part about it was, she died like 20 years ago. I had a lot of weird jobs throughout my life, comedian, prison guard, campus security. I used to work at an animal shelter where I euthanized cats and dogs. Till the shelter found out, then I got fired. That's alright, I was ready to move on to bigger and better things anyway. I will tell you, for this last story I'm going to tell you, I'm going to need you all to stick with me on this one, okay? Real quick. Anyone in here seen the movie Schindler's List?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Good. I know that's a weird way to start a joke, but like I said, just stick with me on this. Okay. For those of you who haven't seen it, it is based on a true story. It is a powerful illustration of the horrors of the Holocaust. And I was watching it one night, and my young niece walked into the room, saw the scene where the little girl in red is being carted off with about a dozen other dead bodies. And it upset her. She starts crying. And she says, "Is that little girl dead?" And I freaked out. I didn't know she was in the room. I jumped out. I was like, no, honey, she's not dead. It's just a movie. It's fake. It's not real, all right? And I calmed her down, and I sent her back to bed. And I thought that was the end of it. Till a few weeks later, I got a phone call from her school. Turns out they started learning about the Holocaust, and my niece told her teacher, "Uncle Travis said it's fake. It's not real. No one died." My name's Travis Valle. You can find me at Travis Valle Comedy. Thank you all.